War crimes for major wars has come a long way since World War II, bringing justice to all who committed the worst crimes. Some may think that all people that were involved in those war crimes were brought into justice. However, Unit 731 were never brought into justice from their human experimentation, bioweapon field testing, or human remain experimentation, aka the Death Unit, by me, Jorge Mandrell. Most of the experiments that were from Unit 731 were unethical and obviously bad from the perspective of other nations and from any other person with the right mind. And this picture below are some pictures that were taken in that facility where they make experiments. Some of, some of the most known people was Yoshimura Hisato, where he had a special, the quote says, he had a special interest in hypothermia and he used human subjects to test human reactions to frostbites. Basically, this scientist or researcher what he would do is dip the person's arm or leg, any limb, and put them in the water, cold water, warm water, it has to be water, something wet, and put it outside in the cold to where it would be. In the second quote was he says that he timed the victims to check how long it took for human bodies to develop frostbites. As they say that they will time them, how long it takes, and how much it would take toll on a human body. And after they do the experiment, what they would do is take it out, thaw them out, and see what's the difference, what the what would the reaction of the body would take on. And most of us with a knowledgeable mind will already know that it will already be a dead limb. Many countries during the war had their own group of researchers that created weapons towards their enemies. Japan, on the other hand, had experimented weapons not for them to control, but to create problems for others. And doing so in the picture is pretty much having a biological weapon that can transmit disease or plagues. In the quote above me by Romeo Young, a student in Santa Clara University in California, he quotes that the prisoners tied to stakes would have to endure biological weapons, agent bombs that carry plague, infested fleas on them, or rats with the disease. Pretty much, they will create a weapon that could transmit disease from the weapon itself to animals or to crops to damage them and to limit the resources of the country and to weaken them. So once the Imperial Japanese army could invade, it wouldn't be hard for them to take over. At some point after any testing, they would extract the body from the field and cut them open. Even if the victim is alive, they would open them up without any drugs to suppress the pain. I'm not sure. I haven't done a thorough research as to why they did that. But my suspicious will be that they didn't have enough to use it, or they didn't want to for their own moral reasons. They say they didn't want, because most of their victims weren't their own people, Japanese people, but in fact they were using uh, victims from villages or cities of China, Korea, and some islands down south of the Chinese Ocean, I guess what's it called. But in a quote by again Romeo Young says, that from research it says that cut open from the chest to the stomach, he screamed terribly and his face was all twisted in agony. And to give a little context is that the person who said this was their first time opening them. This was their first surgery, and they would do this for a long period of hours, and just 7 8 hours, I suppose. And once they're done with doing the experiment or of opening the body, they would just throw the body out or cut them apart and feed them to the animals, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. But they would just take the day off from that on. In this line, you'll see the picture above me, Unit 731. Doesn't show the whole complete photo, but it's pretty much the whole unit. And those are the websites that I used to find the information for the quotes. And that's pretty much it, what I have. Just to give a side note is that it's not talked about. It's not known for other people when they learn about World War II, because they pretty much destroyed any form of documents, research after the war, and when they heard that they were coming to Unit 731, quickly they destroy all documents, any form of research, so they can have a lighter punishment. But pretty much they didn't get any form of punishment at the end of the war.